Well, I guess they found him. Hey guys, Jay! Welcome back to the channel. Guys, we just reported yesterday about the fact that King Grayskull was not included with the Eternia playset. And now, we're finding images online of people posting up King Grayskull as he's been shipped out to several people already. And I want to take a deep dive into this and see exactly what happened on the MOTU universe. Fans are going nuts right now, guys. Let's have a deep dive into this and see exactly what was posted online for King Grayskull, which is part of the Eternia playset. So guys, just before we get started, I wanted to tell you about this brand new mic that I'm using from MOTU. This is the DM30, and yeah, they sent this to me as a review sample. I could always use a new mic, at least that's what I'm thinking. And yeah, I was happy to take them up on their offer, and yeah, check it out. It's hard to catch on camera, but it actually has RGB lights. I don't know if you can see that. It's actually fading in and out. It has several different lighting settings. You can just make multiple different choices. It has interfaces on the PC or Mac, which I downloaded the software for. It's very interesting in terms of its overall usage, and I'm, checking it out. I'll have a full review of this actual mic, but I wanted to test it out today and see what you guys thought. Is the audio quality good? Is it better than the other audio quality that I've had in my other videos? Let me know those in the comment section below, because this might end up being my daily driver if the testing goes really, really well. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get on to this episode. Guys, I want to give a huge shout out to friend of the channel, James, who sent me these crazy pictures today. Yes, indeed, guys. It appears that King Grayskull is making the rounds on social media as he's finally being shipped to people, and they are getting them in hand. And I want to take a deep dive into this and see exactly what was going on with all of these brand new images showing up everywhere. Heading over to Canal dos Rosmineros, who of course is another great friend of the channel, they posted up this image here of King Grayskull, giving full credit to Axel Jimenez. And heading over to Axel Jimenez's Instagram page, he credits The Secret of Orko on Instagram for posting up these images as well. And let's take a deep dive into all of these. Huge thanks to everybody who's been posting these photos. They do look amazing, and I really do appreciate all the sharing in the community. You guys are the best. This first photo comes from Chris Traynor on the MOTU Origins WWE Masters Superstars Facebook page, and it appears that he has the mailer for the Master Universe Powers of Grayskull, King Grayskull, Heroic Ancestor of He-Man, and this looks freaking amazing. You see almost Skeletor-like face, but it has metallic parts. We can see like screws being drilled into the sides here. The teeth look like they're almost metallic in their nature. And of course, this is the line art for the original backing card design for the Powers of Grayskull. If we look at the released versions from Super 7 for the Powers of Grayskull hero figures, which were made a number of years ago, we can see that same metallic skull right in the background. And it really does harken back to those days of old when we had such amazing backing card art. And of course, that continues today with all the wonderful art from the Master Universe Origins and Masterverse action figures. Everything on the mailer is very simple and very reminiscent of all special mailers that have been included with Master Universe figures. But we can see here that this is new for 24. Amazing. Powers of Grayskull, Master Universe, King Grayskull, Heroic Ancestor of He-Man. The colors in the backing card are just gorgeous. We see a purple hue sky at the top, coming all the way down to a more magenta, very, very bright magenta, almost like hot pink type of cloudy nature. Grayskull itself is done in a gradient fill from dark burgundy down to red for the Grayskull font, and it has that shiny appearance, of course, from Master Universe, but the exploding rocks kind of pushing out from the background, we actually see this green, almost glowing type of metallic entrail just emanating from the Grayskull font. It's amazing. Then we have King Grayskull, Heroic Ancestor of He-Man in the traditional Master Universe font. Further down, we do see that metallic skull, which is interesting in and of itself. What were they originally planning for the Powers of Grayskull line that Castle Grayskull would have turned into a mechanical being, which has been fully realized now, of course, with Master of the Universe Revolution. Not to spoil too many things, guys, but something does happen to the Castle Grayskull, where it becomes a bit more mechanical in nature. Moving down towards King Grayskull himself, he looks absolutely stunning. Oh my gosh. I have to say, customizers like Mr. Home Arcade, My Buddy's Customs, and so many others who have done some amazing work on custom King Grayskulls of their own, really have almost hit the mark 1-to-1 with the way he looks here. It really is a testament to how great customizers can work when given enough inspiration. Bravo to everybody out there. My Buddies Customs, Mr. Home Arcade, you guys are doing amazing work. Keep it up. Definitely check them out on their respective channel, guys. Give them a like and a follow. Tell them that Jay sent you. We can see here that he has gold wristbands, a gold belt, which is, of course, very traditional for Eternians, his furry loincloth, that wonderful furry fleece that sits on top of his cape, his armor strap, which has his own symbol for King Grayskull. He's got those dreadlocks, and, of course, those amazing boots, which have a wonderful deco in and of themselves. This photo was courtesy of Axel Jimenez, and he accredits The Secret of Orko for taking this photo, for providing this photo. And this one gives us a much clearer picture as to what the overall backing card and figure can look like when you receive them. New for 24 here at the top, we can see that blue sky, which is going into purple, which again is bleeding down into that magenta. It's beautiful. We can actually see now that the Master of the Universe original logo is at the top, leading into the powers of Grayskull, and then King Grayskull, the heroic ancestor of He-Man. This is amazing. He looks absolutely stunning. I love the new head sculpt. It really is somewhat different from the Master Universe Masterverse figure, but again, all of his own. I really like the way that dreadlocks come down all the way to his chest, and just the way everything's braided at the top of his head. He also had this very stoic look, but also very thoughtful at the same time. Definitely hearkening King Grayskull of old, especially the way he was depicted in Master of the Universe Revolution. Moving down further, we can see that wonderful strap set with his own unique H-pattern logo. It's harder to see the fleece on this version. It's possible that The Secret of Orko actually took him off the backing card. As we'll see in a minute, the backing card is actually a slipcase backing card, which is amazing for collectors. Moving down further, we can see the cape in the background, those wonderful wristbands, which of course are golden in appearance, that amazing belt, his furry loincloth, which is actually more fleece than it is any tan sort of color. Moving down further, we can see those wonderful boots with their trim at the top. King Grayskull is looking amazing. It appears he does have one sword at the very least, and it'll be interesting to see if this sword actually splits in two. That would be incredible to find out, and I'm sure that eventually someone will give us a final look into how that actually comes together. Over on the Master of the Universe Origins fan page, member Joseph Kuhn has posted his King Grayskull, and I gotta tell you, these are amazing photos. We can see here the front of the mailer, which we've already gone over, but he also shows the back of the mailer, which is even more impressive. This, of course, is the line art for the illustration on the backing card itself. This is beautiful. We can see the Eternian lion gates in the background. King Grayskull calling down the power of Grayskull. We see that wonderful line art of him lifting his sword aloft, and it is the power sword. That's a beautiful little touch. And, of course, there he is with his mantle, his fleece on the top, and he just looks absolutely stunning. Bravo to the packaging design team. This is absolutely amazing. Here we get a closer glimpse at King Grayskull. We can see how the cellophane actually is bowing on this particular backing card. And apparently there does not seem to be any additional mini-comic, which of course the mini-comic is technically included with Eternia, so I believe that that's actually how they decided to go about that treatment for King Grayskull. And in a lot of ways, it looks better that way. Obviously, there's no comic book behind him, and I guess the backing card itself does not fold out, which is unfortunate. I would have liked to see another version or another story to be told with King Grayskull and his wife, but he does look absolutely stunning here in all of his glory. Moving to the back, we can finally see this wonderful backing card. It is beautifully rendered. We can see where the line art and the colors were applied. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Those piercing yellow eyes of Eternia Lion. The power of Grayskull coming down in front of the Grayskull logo and the Master Universe logo. The fact that the Sword of Power is actually blue for King Grayskull. And we see them there just standing, holding the Sword aloft, calling down the power of Grayskull. I love the nature of the blue leading down to this wonderful red background, which is behind King Grayskull, indicating that there's fiery power inside of Eternia itself. Freaking incredible. Here is King Grayskull outside of his package, and doesn't he look absolutely stunning? The sword itself is made of a translucent blue plastic, and I love it. It really is harkening back to that wonderful idea that the Sword of Power is for He-Man alone. And this is a full power sword. It is not split in half like the original versions that came with the Origins figures for He-Man and Skeletor. This is much the same as it is with the pink version that came with Prince Adam and the full version that eventually came with the classic version of He-Man and other versions which came afterwards. King Grayskull here looks absolutely stunning, holding the sword up, but I really do love that fleece and the mantle which he wears, all tattered and torn. He looks absolutely stunning. This is amazing, everybody. King Grayskull is finally making his way into the hands of collectors, especially those who have received the Master Universe Origins Eternia playset. King Grayskull is here, everybody, and he brings with him the hopes and dreams of all fans of Masters Universe. By the power of Grayskull, everybody, we have the power. This is absolutely nuts, guys. I can't believe it. Now, we finally get to see King Grayskull in his glory, and I really love that backing card with the Powers of Grayskull motif. It really looks amazing and really gives us hope that the next set of figures is going to be based off of the Powers of Grayskull line. And we did see in the Master Universe Revolution that King Grayskull was riding atop of Bionatops. Does this mean we're going to start getting vehicles and dinosaurs into the playsets? Oh my gosh, guys, this is going to be absolutely nuts. I can't wait. Let me know in the comment section below, everybody. What were your thoughts about this brand new King Grayskull figure? He does look pretty amazing, doesn't he? The Powers of Grayskull line is strong, and we already see that MOTU the Moat Monster, affectionately named, has his own Powers of Grayskull box, and now even King Grayskull comes in the Power of Grayskull line. This is going to be nuts, everybody. Are you looking forward to receiving your King Grayskull figure as you were one of the early backers of Eternia? Or were you one of the unfortunate ones who didn't back it early enough and are missing out on King Grayskull and probably have to settle for a customized figure or pay the hefty, heavy price of the aftermarket? If you enjoyed this episode, guys, please do leave a like. It really does help me out. And if you're in the position to help out the channel, please consider checking out my Patreon page. It's Mega J Retro on Patreon. Guys, the patrons and channel members of this channel help me make wonderful episodes every single week, and I couldn't do without them. They are the best. Thank you so much for your support, everybody. It really means the world to me. Guys, I hope you're all doing well, staying safe. And as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Good journey. Geek proud.